All right, welcome back, second grade. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, and we're continuing on with the work that we have been doing with opinion writing. So make sure you have out your opinion writing that you have been working on. I'm excited to see and hear how you're doing. Remember, you can always check in on Zoom and we can read a little bit together and share some of our work. And so here we go. All right, what did we learn? We've been talking about opinion writing. And so, talking about those important parts. Does it have an introduction? Does it have three reasons with supporting details and a conclusion? Then we went back and we did some revising and we decided to make our writing even better as we're reading it to people in our house to see if it sounds right. Do we have complete sentences? Does it make sense? So, now we should have our main ideas down on the page. So now, what is the next step to making that writing even better? Let's take a look. Today, we are going to talk about editing. And so today, we're going to talk about three main points in editing. We're going to talk about capitalization, punctuation, and spacing. Okay. And then we'll come back to the other parts tomorrow. So, capitalization. Go through your writing. Did you capitalize names? Did you capitalize names of people, places, right? And names of things, okay? Make sure it's specific names of things. Make sure your capitalization. Go to every sentence that you wrote. Did you start it with a capital letter? Remember, after that punctuation, then should come a capital letter. And at the beginning of our writing, make sure that we have those capital letters. Also, make sure you're going through your writing and make sure you don't have random capital letters. We know that we sometimes throw in capital letters. We know that letter P is often that dangerous letter. A lot of you like to write that capital P on the line instead of the lowercase p. So this would be a great chance. Go through your writing, sit down with an adult, see, do you have capital letters in the right places? Punctuation. So make sure that you're going through and checking. Do you have punctuation at the end of every sentence? Did you put it in the right places where your sentences are making complete thoughts? Spacing. Making sure that you go through step by step through your writing. Do we have words that are squished together that's going to make it difficult for your reader to read what's on your page? Did you put spacing? Did you put spacing that's too big on your page? Maybe you have some massive spaces that you need to shrink down and get them down to the right size, okay? And so make sure that you have spacing between words. We want to make sure that whoever's reading your page doesn't have to go, are those two words stuck together or is it just one? Okay, so today's instructions kind of short because I want you to spend some time going back and checking those three things, right? So that means it would require you to go ahead and reread your story again or your opinion writing again and making sure that you have capitalization in the right places, punctuation in the right places, and check that spacing to make sure that it's neat and easy to read. When we are done here, you'll just pause the video, you'll go back, you'll work on that piece, making your writing the best that it can be. Then you'll come back and we'll talk about a little bit more editing tomorrow. Okay. All right, so go ahead and pause that video. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, welcome back to day 2B. Today should be Thursday, April 2nd. And so we are coming back to our opinion writing. We're trying to make it the best writing that we can do, something that we're going to be proud of. And so what did we learn? We have been talking about opinion writing. Does it have the introduction? Three reasons. Supporting details. Does it have your conclusion? Okay, you did a day of revising. You went back to see, can you make your sentences better? Can you make your words stronger? Can you make it more exciting for us to read? Then yesterday we went back and did some capitalization check. We did some punctuation checking and we did some spacing checking to make sure that our writing is our very best. So today we have moved on from those three things. We're going to come back. guess what? This requires you to read your writing again. Maybe find somebody new to read it to and check in with them and get used to reading your own writing to make sure it makes the best writing that you can do. Today, we're going to talk about two main points with your editing. We're going to talk about spelling and we're going to talk about letter formation. Okay. Now, spelling when you're checking, I know you're at home and you're going to be tempted to say, Mom, how do you spell this word? Remember, we want to do more than just asking your parents how to spell the words for you. Remember, many of your words are going to follow those punctuation or the phonics rules that we do during our foundations time. So make sure you're tapping out those sounds. Make sure you're hearing all those sounds. So parents, if you're working with them, ask them how many sounds do they hear in those words and see if they're listening and making those sounds. Don't just give them free answers. Now, there are some words that do not follow our phonics rules. And yes, those are our trick words, and you can provide them extra help on those. But if it's something that they can tap out and find those matching sounds, make sure they're doing that. Finally, there is letter formation. We still have a few friends out there that do some letters backwards or maybe floating off the lines. They'll be floating up in the air. We know that, for example, the letter G for some students. We see a lot of G's that are floating that don't have the tail under the line. We already talked about yesterday, the letter P often gets floating up in the line, looks like a capital P. So we also have some students who do, for example, the lowercase f. They like to do that one backwards. So make sure you're going back and checking that letter formation. And so going through, spelling is an important part. You can connect back to the phonics work that we have been doing first thing in the morning as you've been checking that off doing your foundations, because now you've seen some of the skills that they're working on. Make sure they're applying them in their writing. Okay, to make sure they're figuring out those words. All right, today you're going to stop the video and you are going to check your spelling. You're going to check your letter formation. This is the end of your opinion writing. So now it should be your final piece. You've written it. You've revised it. You've edited it. You should have writing that you are proud of turning into me as a great example of opinion writing. Thank you for tuning in. Good job, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Mission accomplished. We are done with opinion writing.